how are you all? I hope you all are doing well. Welcome to our EVS class. Students, we all know that we have learned our first lesson from EVS second. That is, what is history? Alright, now in today's session, we will solve some questions related to the lesson. Alright, for that, open your EVS workbook, that is EVS second workbook part 1. Alright, understood which book you have today? EVS second workbook part 1. Alright students, open page number 1 from the workbook. You can see some questions from the lesson. Alright, now we'll start with the questions. Now let us move toward the questions. Here you can see lesson what is history. Concept 1.1, that is what is history. In that some sections are given. Our first section is I remember. Alright, in that our first question is multiple choice questions. So in these some options are given and we have to choose one correct options. Alright, now let us read the statements. What is drawn to mark event in the order in which they took place? Do you know on what these events are marked in a sequence? Yes, on the timeline the events are marked in the particular order. Alright, so here the answer will be option B, timeline. Alright students, now let us move toward the second statement, that is, which of the following is not a source of history? Students, do you remember we have learned 3 types of sources? Alright, do you tell me that? Yes, the first one is oral sources, second one is written sources, and third one is archaeological sources. Here option A is oral sources, B is written sources, and C is archaeological sources. Now do you think so? Water source, is this source is related to history? No. Yes. So the water source is not a source of history. So we'll choose option D here. Alright students. Now let us see next question. Here the third number question is in filling the blanks. Alright. So here we'll read third statement, that is the past comes before dash. Do you remember what is the definition of past? Yes, past means the time before now. Very good. So here you will write now. Alright. Now fourth one is on a timeline the dash event is on the left hand side. Now my dear students, you all know that a timeline is a drawing on which the past events are marked in a sequence. On the timeline, the old event comes to the left hand side and the latter event comes on the right hand side. Alright, the past events that are old, that events comes to the left hand side, means the first events that are on the left hand side. Alright, and the latter event or latest event comes on the right hand side. Alright, now see, here you have to write short answers of the given question. The question is, which language does the word history come from? Do you remember the word history? Yes, the word history comes from the word historia, and the word historia that word is Greek word, and the meaning of historia or history is a story. Alright. Now see, sixth number question. Give one example of an oral source of history. Do you remember oral sources of history, written sources of history and archaeological sources of history. Alright, in oral sources we have seen that there are different oral sources such as stories, poems, then songs. Alright, so these are the oral sources such as stories, songs, poems. Alright, or you can write the stories told by your grandparents. These are also related to oral sources. The songs and poems that are also related to oral sources. Alright, now let us move toward the next question. See here, you can see question number 7. What is it? Let us read. Give 2 examples of archaeological sources of history. As we all know that the archaeological sources are related to the buildings, then jewelry, clothes, photographs and many more. Alright, so you can write here famous buildings, tools, clothes, jewelry. These are the examples of archaeological sources. Alright, now let us move toward the next question. Here, next section is I understand. Alright, in that some question like true or false. So here 8th number statement is everyone studies history for the same reason. Is it true? Yes, correct. The statement is false as we all know that we all are different in many aspects. Alright, and many people have different reasons to study history or to study past. Such as we know that doctor. Why doctors study history? Yes, doctors study history to know past treatment and diseases. And the journalists, why do they study history? Yes, they study history to understand the present in a better way. Alright, so all having their own reason behind the studying history. So this statement is false. Alright. Now let us move toward the 9th number statement, which is oral sources of history are used to learn languages. As we all know that oral sources such as stories, songs, poems, they tell us more information related to the past languages. Alright. Or the olden languages which were spoken by the people, and they also tell us how that people celebrate different festivals. So this statement is true because we learn languages spoken during past time from the oral sources. Alright, so answer will be true. Now let us move toward the 10th statement. We need to study history to know why events happened in the past. Alright, why do we study history? Yes, by studying history, we come to know that events and why that events happened. Alright, so this statement is true. Alright, see 11th number statement, that is history cannot help us learn about the changes in the world. Is it correct? Yes, it is false because history gives us more information about the past. As I told you, we may learn from our mistakes. In the same way, we can learn changes in the world from history. So, this statement is false. Alright, see here. Next one, short answer question. Question number 12. That is, why are written sources of history important? Do you know that the sources are history? They are very much important for us as they gives us more information about past events. Alright. So now let us read. Written sources of history are important because they teach us about famous people and places, and they also teach us about the laws of different places. Written sources such as diaries, books, journals, letters. They gives us information about famous people, famous places. Alright. And they also tells us different laws from the different places. Okay? Understood? Now let us move toward the next question. See here, you can see one picture. Alright? You have to write that you want to learn more about your grandmother. What are two ways of doing so? Okay? If you want to learn more about your grandmother, then you have to find out some ways to learn about her. Alright? So here we can read it. I can learn more about my grandmother from old photographs. As we all know that old photographs, these are the archaeological sources. They gives us more information about the past event, then past people. Alright. So here, the first one, you can ask your grandmother for her old photographs. Alright. And you can also discuss about her with her friends and with other relatives. Alright. So they will give you more information about your grandmother. Alright. Now let us move toward the next question. See here. Here long answer question is given. You have to observe this picture A and picture B. Alright. And you have to tell how the past helped them to study history. Alright. Here you have to write how history can help these two people with what they do. As I told you from the picture A, you can say that a potter is making pots and the doctor is treating a patient. Alright. So here the potter can learn more about the material which is used by people in the past. Alright. It gives him information about the material which is strong or which is weak to make pots. Alright. And by studying history, a doctor can learn about different diseases and different treatments related to the past. Alright. So let us move toward the next question. Here you can see next section, that is I apply. In that the multiple choice question is given. As we all know that, see, if you make a timeline of your life, which event will come first? Alright. You have to write here which event will come first in your life. Alright. So first one is your birth. Second one is your first day at school. Third one is birth of your younger brother. And the fourth one is your sports day. Alright. So here first event will be your birth. Alright. So answer will be option A. Okay. Now let us move toward the next question. That is, who among these cannot help you to find out about your family history? Here some persons are given. Alright, some people are given. And you have to write who cannot help you to study history. Alright, so first one is your father. Second one is your aunt. Third one is your grandmother. And fourth one is your baby sister. Alright. So first your father, aunt and your grandmother, they are the elder. So they can tell you information related to their past events. Alright. But your baby sister, she cannot tell you about the history. Alright. So here answer will be option D. Okay. Let us move toward the next question. That is short answer question. In this, read the question. See, Sakshi visited an old temple in Konark. Alright. From Odisha. Which type of source of history does the temple belong to? Write what Sakshi can know about the history from Odisha, that temple. Alright. Here you have to tell this temple is belong to which type of historical source? Yes, correct. Temple is a famous building. So this temple is belong to archaeological source, and from that archaeological source that Sakshi come to know the life based related to the people, okay, which were there in the past. Alright. Now from this she can also come to know the material which is used to make this temple. Alright. And from the carving on these pillars, here life of the people which were there in the past, it is shown. Alright, so that Sakshi come to know about the life of the people which were there in the past. Alright, so let us move toward the next question. Now here question number 18 is some historical sources are given here. Now that is the question. Historians and archaeologists study things that are very old. Alright, we all know that historians and archaeologists, they read or they study different sources related to the history. Alright, see, things that are very old. What difficulties do they face while studying these things? Do you know that while studying you also facing too much difficulties? Then you ask to your parents. In that way, these historians and archaeologists, they also face many problems while studying this. Alright. So let us read about their problems. What problems they face. By looking at this picture, this material, it is old one. So while digging up, the material can broken. Alright. So here these old objects can easily break while being dug up or studied. So this material can break. Okay. And in the picture, see, you can see here the language. Alright. This language is past language. As we all know that archaeologists and historians, can they know this language? Do they have they learned this language? No, this language is very old. So they might be faced difficulty related to this language also. Alright. Now let us move toward the next question. Here you have a long answer question. Alright. So question number 19 is identify the person in the pictures and describe her work. Then arrange the pictures of her work in the correct order. Alright. Here one person is given and you have to tell who is he or who is she, and you have to arrange this picture according to the work she does. Alright. So now let us see the picture. Alright. I hope you understood the pictures. Alright. Here she is digging something, means she is an archaeologist. Alright. This is an archaeologist. What she do? As we all know that she excavates to find remains of the past. She dig up and find out the past things or human remains. Alright, as I told you. Then she describes the remains and notes their location. After that, after digging up, what she do? She describes the material, size, shape, color of the thing which she got. Alright, and she note down the location where that source found. Alright, or where that object found. After that, what she do? Let us read. She also writes the history of the site where the remains were found. Means first one, she dig up the remains. Then second one, she note down important things such as size, shape, material in her notebook. And after that, what she do? She writes the history related to the place where that material is found. Alright. So from that we can say first picture is this, second one is this, and third one is this. Alright. Now let us move toward the last question. This question is from the section I explored. Alright. And here the question is long answer question. Here you have to write. See, ask your older family members to show you a few old belongings and ask them to share the stories behind these things. Alright. In the first lesson, I have shown you the nose ring. I told you that nose ring is related to my family history. In the same way, you have to ask your elder family members about these things which are related to your family history. Alright. You can write it about different photographs, then about different jewelry, clothes and tools which are used by your old family members. Alright. And you have to write about that things, and you also have to paste photograph or you can draw the picture in your workbook. Alright students, have you understood all the answers? Yes, if you have any difficulty regarding this, you can ask. Alright, thank you.